Good morning. Welcome or welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Monday again. It is Monday, June the 15th. We're here to look at the new releases that are published this week, starting yesterday and going till Saturday. That is the time frame. Sorry, hair isn't dry yet. All right, hope you had a good weekend. Quick announcements. I don't have any sprints tonight. I don't do them on Monday night. Our next sprints are tomorrow night, Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. All right. I think sprints are actually on Sarah's tonight, if I'm remembering right. Not quite sure. All right, first up, historical mystery. Fifth in the Mr. Darcy and Miss Tilney mysteries. This author, Claudia Gray, has smashed all of Jane Austen's books into one world. This is The Fatal Unpleasantness at Netherfield. Jonathan Darcy has recovered from the wound he received in a duel 3 months prior during a disastrous London season, but his parents aren't over the shock and they remain convinced that, no matter how many murderers have been caught via their investigations, Jonathan must end his association with Miss Juliet Tilney, particularly now that she is a young lady of ruined reputation. He prays for some opportunity to be with her again, but unfortunately, the answer to those prayers comes in the form of murder. His Uncle Charles Bingley's brother-in-law, Mr. Hurst, is found dead from poisoning at Netherfield Park. Aunt Jane is desperate for answers, which means Miss Tilney must be invited to Netherfield to investigate. Juliet, still reeling from her newfound ruination, is happy to be back in the thick of the investigation. The reunion with Mr. Darcy is difficult. Juliet has missed Jonathan terribly, but she is tormented by the knowledge that his parents will never approve their match. Adding to their troubles are the scheming Caroline Bingley Allardyce and her daughter Priscilla, whose machinations threaten any hope Juliet might have of societal rehabilitation, much less an engagement. Then Mr. Hurst proves to be only the first victim at Netherfield, casting a pall of danger and worse, scandal over the Bingleys' household. Jonathan and Juliet must find the culprit and will ultimately be called to make a final choice between respectability and love. I have read the previous books in this series. Amy says, good morning. Well, good morning to you. Happy Monday, if one can say that. Hemlock Bay by Martin Edwards, fifth in the Rachel Savernick Golden Age Mysteries. The new seaside resort of Hemlock Bay offers something for everyone. For families, it's the ideal summertime playground for kids and parents alike. For artists, the seascapes are peerless. For swindlers and blackmailers, it's the perfect place to craft a new identity. And for murderers, that's what Rachel Savernick, the enigmatic, usually there'd be a drinking game, but I don't have my coffee, heiress and brilliant amateur sleuth is about to discover. When crime beat journalist Jacob Flint receives a visit from a fortune teller who insists he's had a vision of murder soon to occur in Hemlock Bay, Jacob consults with Rachel to get her take on the man's outlandish claim. Rachel is so intrigued she rents a cottage at the seaside resort where an artist she admires also happens to be spending the summer. Meanwhile, mild-mannered accountant Basil Palmer is en route to Hemlock Bay, determined to murder a man he's never met, a man who he holds responsible for his beloved's wife's death 6 months prior. Could this be the murder foretold by the fortune teller? Whether predestined or plotted, a murder does occur. But as Rachel plunges deeper and deeper into the morass of mysterious events and suspects, and as alibis exonerate each suspect one by one, she begins to wonder whether she is equal to the case. Has Rachel finally mired herself in mysteries she can't solve? Oh, I bet she does. Sniffing Out the Truth by Cindy Kirk, third in the Cornwall Loom and Bark Mysteries. When Gerald L. is found dead at Santa Camp, most people accept an explanation that keeps the peace. Jory doesn't. When he drops a missing keepsake at Penelope Penrose's feet, she starts looking closer at Gerald's routines, the details others dismiss, and the quiet pressure to let things lie. But in a town built on kindness, asking questions can come at a cost, because sometimes refusing to look away is the most dangerous choice of all. Messages in the Moonlight by H.C. Cardona, 11th in the Cherry Blossom Bay mystery series. Valentine's season in Cherry Blossom Bay should be full of roses, romance, and maybe a little chaos. But for Piper Rose, it starts with a kiss she can't forget and a question she can't answer. What are we? Because Kenji Kitsune might look at her like she's everything, but he still won't say it. And before Piper can figure out her heart, something far more dangerous demands her attention. A secret admirer is leaving messages, not sweet, not romantic, but unsettling. At first, it's just a letter. Then a note slipped across a crowded bar. Then the feeling that she's being watched, even in a room of people. As Piper and Kenji are pulled into a Valentine's matchmaking event turned investigative nightmare, the lines between love and obsession blur fast, because someone isn't just flirting in the shadows, they're hunting. And in a town where everyone is looking for connection, someone is getting dangerously close to Piper. With tension simmering, secrets surfacing, and a killer hiding behind love notes, Piper must uncover the truth before her admirer decides it's time to stop watching and start claiming. End of that row. Father Roberto and the Commotion at the Catacombs. 5th in the Father Roberto's Cozy Mysteries by Stefania Hartley. Looks like these are 2 short stories smooshed together. There. Father Roberto and the Commotion at the Catacombs. Young Catholic priest Father Roberto is excited for his older brother's visit. Corrado, a Jesuit priest astronomer, has come especially from Rome to Palermo just to spend time with him, and Roberto is determined to show Corrado the best of the Sicilian capital. But when Corrado turns down the pretty sights and demands to visit the Capuchins' catacombs instead, a reluctant Roberto and an eager Corrado are pulled together in an investigation into who is stripping the centuries-old mummies of their clothes. Will the brothers find the thieves before they run out of patience with each other? 2nd, Father Roberto and the Voice of God. Yearning for some peaceful time alone with God, Father Roberto heads to a retreat house up in the Sicilian mountains, but he's immediately roped into a new investigation. A precious Byzantine Bible is missing from its safe, and the retreat center's director suspects the thief is Roberto's beloved old mentor. The only way for Roberto to clear the man's name is to find the real culprit. As more Bibles are stolen and Roberto can't find any help, can AI come to his rescue? I'm hoping that's AI. Maybe it's Al, but I think it's AI. You can't tell. Excuse me. Any Day Now by Patty Larson, 10th in the Daisy Bruce Cozy Mysteries. Daisy's not sure saying yes to Nelson de la Monte was the best choice, but when he assures her it will be worth her while, she takes a chance. Too bad trusting the business mogul with a past he'd prefer to stay hidden means coming across another murder. Can she prove he's innocent when she's not even sure she believes him? Honey, if you have that kind of reservation, don't marry. A Splash of Suspense by Simon Steer. 20th in the Cafe Crimes Cozy Mystery Series. What was supposed to be a fun escape on Ocracoke Island takes a deadly turn when a body turns up near the cottage. Local authorities call it an accidental drowning, but Hazel is convinced there's more to the story. The deeper Hazel digs and the more clues surface, the clearer it becomes that the dead man didn't end up on Ocracoke by chance. He brought unfinished business with him, and Parker can't stay out of it for long. With Major curled in her lap and Whit just a phone call away in Magnolia Grove, Parker reluctantly joins Hazel in the search for the truth. On Ocracoke, A relaxing escape can come with a splash of suspense. Spices and Vices by A.N. Payton, 6th in the Hallows Promise. Rey and her newfound family must awaken the Oracle of Fedor if they wish to survive the evil king's oncoming army. Doing so requires a magical stone, one they do not yet possess. When Rey and Valen arrange a meeting to obtain the stone, their contact ends up dead. The only clues gleaned from the crime scene are symbols carved in a cursed arrow. Rey knows there's one obvious place in Hollow's Promise for a powerful curse caster to hide, the central campus for mages and magic. To investigate this crime, Rey must don a new set of black robes and face her most challenging obstacle yet, college students. But when the investigation turns deadly, Rey must decide if freedom is worth sacrificing something she loves the most. It's a combination of fantasy and mystery. End of that row. Books, Betrayal, and Blame by Sally Bayless. 8th in the Dogwood Springs Cozy Mysteries. When a rare original manuscript is set to be given to the library in Dogwood Springs, historian Libby Ballard is among those excited to celebrate the literary treasure, but before the event begins, the book vanishes without a trace and the donor is found murdered. As the town reels from the shocking news, whispers and theories abound. The police have their suspect, but Libby fears the woman may have been wrongly accused, leaving the real killer walking away free. Determined to see justice served, Libby begins digging into a tangle of family drama. With her loyal golden retriever Bella by her side and her friends ready to help, she begins putting the pieces together. But as the mystery deepens, so does the danger. Someone in town is hiding the truth, and they'll do anything to keep it buried. Can Libby identify the killer before another deadly chapter is added to this tale? Cultivated Corpse by Deborah Sennefelder. 9th in the Food Blogger Mysteries. The Jefferson Garden Club's annual plant sale is just around the corner, but Hope Early and other members of the club are more focused on the garden restoration project at Ambrose House. The gorgeous landscaping promises to help return the stately old home to its former glory, but rumors are surfacing of unexplained delays and exorbitant costs. When the club's president is found dead amid signs of foul play, and Hope can't ignore the uneasy feeling that the victim was silenced for something she knew about the renovations. Certain that the solution to the murder is tied to the garden project and the club's recent financial struggles, Hope begins to go through their books and uncovers more than mismatched numbers. A tangle of transactions point to an intricate embezzlement scheme, but before she can weed out who's behind it, a local reporter chasing the same story is killed. It's clear now that someone is dead set on keeping the truth buried, and Hope will have to unearth a vital piece of evidence before the killer decides it's time to bury her as well. It says it includes mouth-watering recipes. Cooking Up Sweets by Connie Shelton, 20th in the Samantha Sweet Magical Cozy Mysteries. For the first time since she opened her bakery, Samantha Sweet is staring at empty bistro tables and unsold pastries and wondering what's going on. A few regulars still show up, the ovens still hum, but something is missing. When her daughter Killian says she take a quick break and attend a local estate sale, Sam reluctantly agrees. She expects dusty knickknacks and chipped teacups. Instead, she finds a stack of vintage cookbooks, including one that refuses to be ordinary. Throughout the handwritten binder are symbols and margin notes that feel more like messages than measurements. As Sam begins testing the Depression-era recipes, she experiences some weird happenings and uncovers the story of a woman who once owned the book, a determined restaurateur who built a thriving business during the darkest years of 1930s. Her menu brought customers and her dishes brought hope. But the deeper Sam digs, the stranger things become. Her wooden box reacts to the cookbook in ways she can't explain. Sam experiences vivid images after tasting certain recipes. And when the elderly woman who hosted the estate sale dies within days under suspicious circumstances, Sheriff Bo gets involved. Meanwhile, Kelly is determined to pull sweets back into the spotlight by entering the Spring Food Festival baking contest. A win, especially with celebrity judges in attendance, could transform their fortunes overnight. But as Sam experiments with recipes that carry echoes of another era, she begins to suspect that someone else is out to sabotage her efforts. Could a recipe from the Great Depression somehow lead to a murder in modern Taos? Or could one of the cookbook's recipes hold a dangerous secret? Dashing Through the Show by Cindy Goyette, second in a Wigglebutt Manor mystery. Murder is under the mistletoe in the peaceful island community of Orchid Cove. Holiday plans are put on hold to give attention to the grand opening of the Wigglebutt Manor agility course. Special guest Bentley is supposed to dazzle on the stage, but the locals have had enough of his snooty trainer, Miles Collins. So has his killer. When Charlie Calderbank finds Miles' body in the back of her moving van, it becomes a season of giving alibis, that is. Her hopes for a Christmas romance are dashed when the local hot cop is forced to pay more attention to the clues leading to her door than the chemistry that simmers between them. Tainted Taint treats a widow who raises a toast along with a few eyebrows, a groomer with a grudge, an angry Santa Claus, a nosy reporter, and a canine custody hearing have Charlie spinning in every direction, juggling clues, dogs, and blizzards. She must identify the killer or she'll spend the Christmas behind bars. End of that road. Murder at the Spirit Lounge by Jess Kidd, second in the Nora Breen Investigates series. When Dolores Chimes, a famous medium, arrives in Gore-on-Sea, even surly Detective Inspector Rideout is lured in by her promises of messages for the afterlife. But after reading goes disastrously wrong, Dolores loses her life, and the 6 sitters at the seance with her fall victim to supernatural deaths themselves in the days following the nightmare of a reading. Determined to unveil the truth, Nora finds herself chasing a ghostly serial killer she believes to be responsible before the 6th victim, Detective Rideout himself, perishes along with the others. Yeah, it doesn't really work that way, but Death in the Dillweeds by Christy Tate, first in Apothecary Shop Mysteries. After years as a cruise ship chef, Amelia Bellamy returns home to inherit her grandmother's Victorian house, a bad-tempered Maine Coon, and an apothecary shop full of strange old remedies. Then a local football coach turns up dead in the herb garden during Graham's funeral wake. Now Amelia, her first love turned sheriff, and 4 meddling septuagenarians known as the Silver Sisters are hunting a killer in a town where everyone has secrets. And some recipes were never meant to be uncovered, because in Blue Heron Bay, even innocent herbs can leave a bitter aftertaste. Magical Mornings Cafe, Carmel by the Sea series. Second in that series by Jackie Vest. Piper has perfected the art of keeping people at arm's length. Running Magical Mornings Cafe in the witchy coastal town of Carmel by the Sea, she's built a life that's safe, successful, and completely hers. No messy relationships, no vulnerability, no risk of being abandoned again. Then Drake Bishop starts showing up every morning with his stormy eyes and that infuriating smile, and suddenly her protection spells aren't working anymore. When the town's festive money festival money disappears, Piper agrees to help Drake investigate. Just committee business. Nothing personal, except their minds start connecting in ways that shouldn't be possible, and she can find his emotions like they're her own. Feel his emotions. Now Piper must solve two mysteries: who stole from her beloved town, and whether the feelings blazing between her and Drake are real, or just an ancient spell finally coming due. The festival deadline is closing in. The thief is still out there, and Piper's about to discover that the biggest mystery in Caramel by the Sea has always been her. Marmalade gets catnapped by R.E. Merrill, third in the Jailhouse Cat mysteries. There's a heat wave in Moosehead Mills, and election season is making things feel even hotter. The debate over body cameras has the sheriff's department at war with itself, and as tensions rise as the station, Ruth Daigle starts to suspect that Sheriff Jack is hiding something far darker than a checkered past. But Ruth has other things on her mind too. A mysterious thief is helping himself to the town's most treasured junk, and an unexpected stint caring for Aunt Fern out on the farm has put Ruth at an inconvenient distance from everything she loves, including Marmalade. And then Marmalade disappears, with secrets piling up and the clock ticking. Finding her becomes every bit as urgent as finding the truth. End of that row. The bell's about to ring, so we will end there. Remember, we're ending on Marmalade. We have 2 more rows. We have 8 more books. All righty. That is it for today. Hope you guys have a good day, a good Monday. Next is on Wednesday, we'll look at the crime fiction and thrillers. I don't think there's a whole lot, so we might also be looking at the rest of the cozies. We'll have to play that a little bit by ear. So please, please take care of yourselves, read good books, and as the banner says, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Oh, no, no. Have a good day. God bless.